The Odyssey is reborn each time that a new work is created in response to it.
Size up all 108, about time we got done with these fakes. I want to carve these bastards' names in the marble of my father's grave. I fought for
One that I'm particularly interested in is that of my friend, the Greek-Australian rapper, Luka.
So tell me a bit about your Odyssey project, where you're at now, conception of it, how long you've been working on it.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years since the very first idea came up. I was offered to do a collaboration with a composer at the Sydney Conservatorium. And instead of just making it some small idea, I thought I'd just take on the biggest epic ever known to man. So it involves a full orchestra and choir, me telling the story of the Odyssey in rap and spoken word poetry, and projections on stage. But at its essence, it's basically a storyteller recounting the journey of Odysseus in his own words.
Amazing, amazing. And so what made you want to engage with the Odyssey in particular?
Man, I don't know. I think maybe because I come from a Greek background, I kind of feel like I get sick of seeing these stories be told in a Hollywood way, with not one Greek person on the crew or in the writing team or anything like that. And this idea that people have that the Odyssey or that ancient Greek culture is Western culture also kind of irked me for a little bit. But for me, I was like, what can I re-infuse into the Odyssey if I spoke classical Greek on stage, or I spoke modern Greek on stage, or I could feel it in my bones as someone who feels like an ancestor of that.
You're not the first, person to respond to the Odyssey in a range of creative mediums, right? Now, it's interesting because for me, my way into the Odyssey came actually via other people that had responded. Derek Walcott, Ralph Ellison.
Nice.
What do you make of some of those responses? And do you feel any pressure being in this kind of long list of incredibly talented people from all over the world, really, who've been inspired by this text?
I feel pressure, which is why I don't read anybody else's interpretation. I try not to get hung up about it. It is a reinterpretation of a classic. I see it as really like a rite of passage for some artists that choose to take it on. It is such a historic story that we also feel like we have to do it justice, and maybe that brings some greatness out of us that we may not have had if it wasn't a project on this. I saw when I first started doing this that Prince actually did a response to the Odyssey called Glam Slam Ulysses, with Carmen Electra dancing on stage before she got famous. I don't know if anyone other than the people in that room that night have seen it, but like a lot of people have done that, have dealt with this thing, and it seems to be like an essential part of many artists' movement and growth.
Despite his Greek heritage, Luka has never been to Ithaca, but he does have a little bit of local info to share.
There's a rumor that Ithaca is not actually Odysseus's home, and that actually it was in Kefalonia next door, the other island, because Kefalonia has like different groves and forests and stuff, and in the early part of the Odyssey they talk about Odysseus hunting and running through forests and all this type of stuff. So Ithaca's not big enough to have that. So some people say that actually the ancient Ithaca was Kefalonia.
That's mad. So what if I'm actually not in Odysseus' home? Wow, all right. Well, I'm going to have to look into that. Well, thanks a lot, bro. No, thanks for taking the time to speak to us.
Could Luka be right? Is the island that's called Ithaca today not the place that Homer had in mind? I've been digging a bit deeper, and I can see why some readers might have their doubts.